Hi guys. I want to show you what happens if you run into a sized receptacle that you can't fit. As you probably already know, you can get 16 millimeter and you can of course get 19 millimeter punches. Because that corresponds to 5/8, 16 is 5/8, and 3/4 of an inch is 19 millimeter. But what in the world do you do for your dime-sized bezel? See, this is a penny-sized bezel, no problem. That's 19 millimeters. And I have lots and lots of 19 millimeter punched out because that happens to be 3/4 of an inch equals 19 millimeters. I can show you that on this little guy here. Here I'm set at 3/4 of an inch, and here you see it comes out at 19 millimeters exactly. That's this right here, and it fits perfectly in this. Okay? That's how you can tell. It's engineered properly. But you've got, let's say, and I happen to have this, about 300 bezels that are dime-sized. Other than dimes, what can you put in this? So, let me show you how to solve this problem so simply. You're going to take a piece of copper. I've got to get one over here. I don't keep the copper really close to myself because I don't need to. You don't need that much of it. So I'm going to cut a slice out of here. Hopefully just out of the metal, not my fingers. Now, just take a square out of this thing here like this. Of course I could just do it with a whole strip and so on. But let's be extravagant tonight because we're on video. Alright, it's probably not a good idea to show you that kind of extravagant procedure, but what I mean is there's waste, inevitably. And if you do it as a long strip, the waste is about one disc less, one blank less. Alright, so I'm just flattening this out to get it nice and neat for myself. It's way larger than I'm going to need. I again did that for the camera, so you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise I'd cut it pretty close to what I actually need to have. Now, where in the world am I going to get a dime-sized cutting guide? Hey, what about right there, Roosevelt dime. So I have just a plain rosy dime. That could also be a silver dime if you want to be really extravagant, but it doesn't have to be. Just a regular dime, and I'm going to use my tool, and I'm going to scribe, holding it very, very, make sure you don't move this as you do this, because it's going to be lousy if you do that. Alright, I now have an approximately dime-sized circle here, but it's a little larger because I went outside the dime, so I have to cut this inside the circle and kind of well in the circle. In order to accomplish that, I'm going to have to use my snoot here, my Optivisions, come in from at an angle as if you were kind of landing a plane, and then stay right slowly now, go real slow, real slow on the inside of this line, about one scissors width inside the line. In other words, just inside the line. You'll have to try this 4 or 5 times before you get it right, I guarantee that. Because you'll cut them a little large. You tend to cut them a little large. Then you cut them a little too small. Then you cut them in large again and small again. And eventually it evens out. Now here I'm going to flatten this out. And see, and around here the rim is not really even. It doesn't have to be. It's going to go inside a bezel, for crying out loud, so don't have to worry about what it looks like on the edge. Okay? If you were wearing this as a flat-out earring, yeah, you'd have to care, but then you have any size you can choose from. You don't have to go to fit it to a bezel. I'm trying to fit this to a bezel. So it not only fits the bezel, but it fits the bezel, goes inside without turning and without losing itself, falling out. This is perfect. So then I cut, of course, a second one for the other side, and then I'll cut some blanks out for the middle. In this case, probably maybe 4 blanks, something like that, maybe 5 blanks that just stay blank as the centerpiece. I know it's an awful lot of extra work, but if you have a lot of these bezels, or a lot of various things, coin receptacles, coin items, where it's going to be dimes, quarters, $half. I've got $half here that I can't fit with anything else, so I'll take a $half and I'll scribe a $half around it and I'll put it inside that bezel. So you can use bezels that you have, if you happen to have any that are floating or lying around. I do. I have a lot that I do. So they fit various things, so various coins. So I'll use that coin as my cutter, as my cutting tool, or my cutting indicator, I should say. And then I'll cut to that. Now when I mount this into ring form, see, in a ring here, I simply take the dime, here it is mounted in a ring, which is a dime-sized ring, and this is an Atlantean sigil inside a dime-sized ring, and that is raw copper on the top of that. There's silver, gold, and copper. Now, on the back, you'll note, what do I have in there to hold this in place and give it some body? The dime that I use to draw it is the one that I use in the back. You see that? The dime behind this keeps this in place, locks it in place, and protects the back quite well. It also provides that little padding you need in order for these, for the shaping hooks to come in and work for you. That's it. So simple enough, eh? So look down here. There you go. That's your end product if you're smart. You do this easy, gently, relax with it, have fun.